Welcome to the Monday Morning Wake Up Call with your host, Kerry Ramage, managing broker at Remax Elite, and Heather Holiday, your social marketing nut, talking about hottest real estate topics with a little weekly activity and motivation for the week.
Is that who's?
Oh, that was me. Good morning. I told you, I was like, oh crap, I didn't even prepare.
And I need to turn my sound up. I must have turned it down on the computer because I can't hear very well.
No, that's not good.
Okay, now I can. Happy Monday.
And my volume's like super loud, but I guess, I don't know. Whatever. Yes, happy Monday. It feels like a Monday.
It does indeed. It does indeed. You know, like I could use another day off, but there's that. So here we are, and it's a Monday, and the market is so interesting. I will say you could have done an open house a month ago, and you would have had 30 people at your open house, and you could have done an open house this weekend. And I have reports of some people only having like 2 or 3 people at an open house, and then other people who had 20. But it's like we know the buyers are out there and they're needing to buy and wanting to buy, but the flurry of activity seems to have slowed down.
Well, and I see it on a different level because I manage the incoming leads. And I mean, we've basically been paying the same amount for pay-per-click, campaigns on the office website. But I saw, especially last month or 2 months ago, right? So where are we? August. So I just did July reports. So June was crazy. Like I had to go into all the forums. I had like what happened, like going into the Google, like, okay, what happened to all my ads? Like, I know Google's been making a lot of changes and doing a lot of restrictions like kind of Facebook did. So I thought something like my ad stopped. And I'm like,
oh, interesting.
Spend, but the amount of leads were like a third of what we've been getting for, years and years and years. Like I pretty much do the same ads, may tweak here and there, but I hadn't even made any tweaks. But I thought maybe I did. Like, did I do something wrong?
Right.
But then all of a sudden I'm in the forums and everybody saw that drastic drop.
Interesting.
The amount of buyers. So it's like I see a different aspect. I felt better once I was in the forums. And yeah, it makes sense. Like that's when the interest rates went up and everything, like nobody knows what's going on.
Right.
So it was kind of interesting. And then, last month, so I just did all the reporting for that. So kind of still not where we were. And I know summers usually will slow down. July will have that uptick a little bit because people are trying to get into the house before school starts.
Right.
So it's just, I mean, that always fascinates me doing the reports, but I definitely for June was freaking out. Like, did all my ads stop? Like, what did I do? What went on? And it wasn't until I'm in, other groups and stuff like that.
And you're
that
seeing
I saw
that the same thing is happening, yes. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what the market does. I listen regularly to Yoon is his last name, Y-U-N. Now I can't remember his first name. He's the chief economist for NAR.
Yes.
And Lawrence Yoon. And, he says, a 6% interest rate, although we saw the interest rate go down on Friday to at right below 5. So that was good. But, he says a 6% interest rate is not bad. Going under contract in 15 days instead of 5 days is not bad. We are getting more inventory, but we're still way below the inventory levels, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I was really surprised by the the slowing down of back to school. I'm not back to school. Oh my God, of open houses. But that's where my thought was, maybe because this was the last weekend before back to school, people were out getting
Oh,
to
yes,
school. They were not
I
out
bet.
shopping for
Yes.
houses. I think that's very, yeah, I think that's probably it. So, as markets shift and things change, we always want to kind of roll with it and find new and better ways to do what we do if we can. So today we have 5 ways to shift with the market.
And a lot of this, I mean, you've got to think all these agents who may have entered in the last 3 years or so. I mean, it's a good, so it's good for a lot of these ideas are good for those agents. They, it's a completely different market. Those that have been around and have seen shifts in real estate, it's kind of like a good reminder to kind of almost like go back to basics.
Yes.
Because I mean, it's just been an unusual market these last couple years. Really, where we're shifting is almost to a back to kind of normal market,
Right.
where we actually have time to breathe and time for ourselves. We really haven't had much of that in the last couple years, and it's just been unusual, just life in itself, going through what we've all been through. It's just been, I mean, and that's the great thing about real estate. I mean,
Right.
that's why I love real estate, because it is
It's always changing.
evolving
It's
and
always
changing.
changing. So you can't well, you can get complacent, but it's probably not a good idea for your business,
No, and we saw that a lot of times when that shift happened before, all the agents who kind of got into that REO side of things, you were constantly being fed more than you could handle just from the banks itself.
Right.
And you didn't need to go back to basics. And a lot of agents that forgot about that, as that shifted, we saw a lot of those agents kind of go off and get different jobs, or, kind of leave the real estate space in itself, even if they had been in real estate a long time. It is, sometimes it's super hard to be consistent with what you're doing. And I know that's why we do the business planning, because it's really good to look at, the goals and that you set and how you plan, working your way backwards to achieve those. In a crazy market, it's easy to not be consistent and all of those other things, because you're just, just keep putting one foot in front of the other, because that's how you make it through each day. So
exactly.
So I thought these were a good way. And I know we have some other good shows coming up where we are going to talk about the NAR and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, the first thing is education. We always are stressing education, because what you learned, good morning, Pam, what you learned, 5 years ago, 5 months ago, you may learn something new that can help with your business. And especially now I think COVID did a great thing for us. We are doing so much more via Zoom or via webinar that we weren't doing before. Before, everything had to be live. So now you don't have to always travel to do the education. You can do it sitting at your office or sitting in your living room. But there's always, I feel like any educational things I do, even if I feel like, oh, been there, done that, I know this, there's always a one nugget at least that you can get from it. And like I said, you many times I sit in on things and I'm like, oh, been there, done that, I know this. Don't approach it that way. Approach it with listening ears and not feeling the need to maybe always give your input and show that you know it, because if you're sitting back with listening ears, you will hear something you've not heard before, and you will learn something.
I mean, if I think of all the times I did the sales power, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we did the Tom Ferry sales power, and I did that at least twice a year, usually once a quarter. I still took away different nuggets because I'm at a different place. And I always did it more on like the office management side versus like on an agent. But I still always had takeaways because I'm at a different place, or I've mastered one part that I wanted to, and now I'm moving on to another. Same thing when I've done 4, I think, of the video boot camps that we've done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at a different place every time. So my brain picks, some stuff may have been like way over my head. I'm just in the basics. And then it's like, okay, I'm comfortable with this part now. Now I'm ready to elevate that a little bit more. So there's, I feel even if I've done the same classes, I'm always learning. And I feel when this market, does shift just anytime, because real estate is never the same. Education is key, whether you're, I love going to the events because it's, more networking and really being able to kind of have takeaways from what others are doing great, put my spin on it, and being able to use it. So for me, the in-person is awesome, but it is so nice and convenient that, I can register for a webinar, go onto YouTube and, be able to watch at my convenience.
Exactly. So, and so my new friend Bridget Perez is watching, and she is the new Del Webb rep for when Del Webb starts building in Vieira. So she and I had an opportunity to speak last week, and we're going to get ready to get some information out to our agents. So anyway, thanks for watching. But yeah, and so you mentioned the networking. Go to education classes, go to events, because the networking, I mean, it doesn't just help you with referrals. Sometimes it helps you with, you're having a problem or an issue, and you find that an agent in the office that you're having a problem or an issue with, and it helps you to kind of, if that makes sense, you can reach out to the person or reach out to the broker or reach out to whomever to have those tough conversations sometimes. Or like we've had other brokers come and speak to our agents, and we had Stephen Baker asked me if one of our agents would speak at one of his classes, and that networking, that speaking at one of their classes as an agent from out of area at another brokerage, that's awesome, because that's a great way to get referral business. I mean, sometimes we forget the networking is how you get the referrals, which will bring
to me,
back.
it's like giving value and being able to brainstorm. I mean, to me, that's the best part about going to an in-person event, is really just meeting people. And I mean, I've met people that I've followed for years and years, and now we're friends, and we're just able to bounce different ideas off each other. And it's almost like you could have like your little mastermind with just people from all over the world.
Right.
And it only helps it helps us all. I mean, as we're working together, we're all kind of elevating to that next level.
For sure. Definitely. Then, also as the real estate market is shifting, are you looking for new marketing opportunities? When we do our business plans, we talk about, pick the whatever, however many things you're going to do consistently. Go back and look at your business plan. Are you doing those things consistently, or because it's been 100 miles an hour, you haven't had a chance to do those things? So go back at your business plan, look at the marketing things you wanted to implement. If you're missing something, let's start doing that now. If there's something you see on there that you're like, this might be a good swap to do for marketing that I haven't been doing, start implementing that now.
Right. I mean, I think as we have a little bit time, it's just a good time to always go back and kind of review and see what have we been missing. I mean, we're about to enter Q4, and it's really, Q4 is super important. It's all about setting yourself up for, January and a great Q1 for the next year. Go back to that business plan. What are we missing? What haven't we been able to do because we've been absolutely insane? And also see what can you do, what's working for you, and what can we do to put a little something on that kind of marketing. I mean, a lot of times people are, one of our number one shows from, the live classes that we've done are QR codes, and how you can implement that into your marketing, how great everywhere you go, they've trained you on using that QR code. So maybe adding that to your snail mails. I mean, there's so many different ways that that you can incorporate
So
those
true. I mean,
easily.
I'm thinking back to like 10 years ago, maybe it was even more when you first introduced QR codes to us and we were all like trying to understand it and get it. And like we said before, you had to have an app to whatever. But now, since COVID, and we all learned how to use it with the menus, I mean, you just put your camera right up to it and boom, you're there. So,
And even
yeah.
when I was just in Gatlinburg, they actually handed out TripAdvisor because they get bonuses for every if you mention them in a positive review. So that's where they get their bonuses. So they hand out little business cards that have it for rate them, and it has a QR code and it shows you right there. Or, check out the menu, click here, and it goes to the menu for all the fancy, extra drinks that you can get. So it's
Right.
like QR codes are kind of everywhere. But now even on the business card for rating them, and I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting to even have that to get reviews. They just
Right.
use that QR code and hand that out as their name
As their
and the QR code. Now, so I had to grab it. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool.
That's a great idea. I mean, and get back to that whole sign writer thing where you had the QR code.
Especially now that, listings are kind of, I mean, it's just crazy how, it's like before I could never advertise like a active listing because it was gone within, I was like so stressed out trying to put it up.
Right.
Get something out, to social before there was 10 contracts on it. And now it's like, oh, okay, we're at price reduction. We're doing open houses, like all this other stuff. And it's like, now there's plentiful of the listings on that agent level as, and it's changed pretty quickly, I feel. But
Right.
being able to have that sign writer where you have the QR code or a text to call or
I mean, and it's
text
funny. I'm seeing more and more of those were big. I don't know, maybe 6-8 years ago, where you'd have the sign writer and you'd call the number and you'd get the talking listing, I guess is what it was called. But I'm starting to see more and more of that now. But I am seeing it with QR codes, and it's kind of. I saw someone, he had it on his actual sign, so I should have looked to see where it took me. I suspect it just took it to his.
I mean,
his
you
website.
could use it to your website, or if you use like Linktree, which is what we usually use like on Instagram. I created something similar on Canva, so that doesn't cost any money. But if you use something like that, it's live. So you can constantly add any of your active listings. It's just a button,
Oh, okay.
website, reviews, this property, virtual tour. A lot of times you can't have that actual, lifestyle type video on the MLS. So maybe you have that live video on a link straight on, whether it be Linktree or Canva or something like that. So it is nice if you can use a QR code that goes to that, which is completely live and it's mobile friendly. Because that's the thing is wherever you're taking them, make sure it's mobile friendly. It's going to give them exactly what you want. And those, like little URLs like Linktree or Canva, it's designed for a mobile space. It's a live document, so you can edit it at any time. And that way that QR code is never going to be incorrect or whatnot. Same thing with if you are using that text to call. I know like KV Core, like you can easily, and then there's a lot of programs that have that. You have like, text Heather 1 to get all the photos and information about the property. Well, once that goes under contract, you have a new listing, you just take that writer, move it over to another listing, go into the system, change where, what property they're going to get information on. So it's not like it's a one-time thing. Oh, I have to throw this, sign writer away. You just go into the system. What is it going to do? So those are always great to be able to use. And it's even nice on a property flyer, anything like that. I mean, my goodness, I could do a whole class, and I think I have on the QR codes.
Yeah. No, but I mean, look, I would have never known that you could do this sort of, live document, able to change at all times.
Well, for example, like we have the postcards that go out to people who do that home valuation, but don't put in all of their information. So we really only have an address.
Right.
So we send a postcard and it has a QR code that takes them to the seller's guide.
Gotcha.
Well, obviously they're thinking about selling because that's the form they filled out. And now we can automatically send them, and it has the QR code so they can immediately get a seller's guide, which is going to give them all sorts of valuable information, and it's branded to us. So, I mean, it would be awesome for agents to be able to do even something simple like that. Yeah, you have an address, so go ahead and send them a postcard.
Right.
I know we have agents that'll go knock on their door. I would never be one of those people, but to each their own. Everybody needs to be doing something different. That's great.
Right. So next, stop being a secret agent. That doesn't mean you have to wear your name tag everywhere or a logo shirt everywhere. But if that's what you want to do, great, because I know tons of people who get business that way, and it's so just organic. It costs the price of a name tag or a shirt. But make sure your profiles are up to date. I mean, I get friend requests all the time, and I'm like, okay, what is this person? What do you do?
How do you find me?
This person has 50 friends in common, but I can't figure out why. What is your job? What is your industry? And it's not in Facebook, and I'm not friending you back if I have no clue who you are. Sometimes I'll get friended by somebody who sells, I'm just going to put an example, Pampered Chef, and I've never done a show with them or never, and same thing. It's like, okay, I don't need another Pampered Chef consultant, but make sure your information is out there, that people know who you are. I even get emails from people and it's not branded. It's like, I don't know who they are or what company they're with or anything. Make sure everything that has your face on it or has your information on it has all of your information on it,
Well, like I just had a agent who wanted, to redo their website because they weren't getting any traction or leads from it. And so I go to all of their profiles, their business page, their realtor.com, their LinkedIn, Zillow, whatever. There's no website mentioned anywhere. They have they had Remax.net. So not even Remax.com. They had Remax.net, which unless, that's the intranet. So for Remax agents. So I'm like, well, step number one, how does anybody find your website? Do you even know what your domain is? Like, you don't have it listed anywhere.
Wow.
So not that the website's not great.
People don't even know how to get there.
Right. So that's like really step number one is stop being a secret agent. And people think, oh, well, the website must not be working because I'm not getting leads. And that's when I just want to put my head down. Stop. Especially when I go and their website's nowhere listed on anything that they have.
Right.
That's step number one.
Right.
Stop being a secret agent.
And if here's the thing, if you don't want social media to be about your business, then that's fine. But don't expect then to join a Remax group, say on Facebook, and have the admin approve you because they have no idea who you are. No. So, if you're not using it for business, then don't use it for business. Right.
Yeah. We get about 100 requests a day, and, we just have a couple questions, and we're finally just at the point where, we were always around 200 to 300 people that don't answer any of the questions. They have nothing about, Remax in their bio. And it's like, you know what? We're all volunteers. So they just sit there in the queue waiting for us to go and see what company they're with, who they are. So I think we're finally just, if you don't answer any questions, you can't take the time. I get it if they were invited by somebody because that's a little different. So we keep those. But if you just requested to join, can't even answer any, our 4 questions.
Right.
Gone, try again, answer the questions, and we'll get you in there. But, because they just sit there. Forever. And then I like it when they send the admins a message like, I asked to join yesterday and nobody's approved me, but you didn't answer any questions. You have nothing about what you do. Answer questions.
Right.
It's kind of a pet peeve, but I think that's just because, especially with the groups, just answer the couple questions. How long? I don't know.
I know. No, I'm with you.
Where do you work? Have something in your profile. That's like I don't know.
Right. I think, and if you're not using social media for business at all, then this section is not for you, right? So we're not saying you
It
have
still
to.
should be, if you're expecting anything, it still should be on your business cards, on all of your marketing.
Yes.
So, I mean, it doesn't have to, if you're not on social, that's fine. I mean, certainly we know many that aren't. I mean, you still need, I would say, like a LinkedIn, a Zillow, realtor.com profile. You stop being a secret agent. Make
Right.
sure that your website's listed everywhere.
Yep.
And everybody has like a website. I mean,
Right.
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, everybody has a website.
Stop being so secret.
Yeah.
Unless you want to be a secret agent, then,
I mean, yeah, if you want to, that's all good. But honestly, it's whether it is the name tag, which I always forget my name tags, or a branded shirt, or make sure, even like we always say, with the different designations you have, or different groups you're a part of. I mean, I joined Women's Council of Realtors, and I took this class about their platform where you can get referrals, and it was how to like beef up your profile, and I beefed it up, and I got great referrals. I mean, and I didn't get them from meeting the people in person at events. It literally came from the WCR. I can't think of the name of the platform that they use, but that I filled out completely. That way people can find you. If I'm looking for somebody and I want to refer business to them, and they don't even have a picture next to their profile at their office or at Remax International. I mean, you can't take the time to put your picture on, like you're that busy.
Right. And that's my first thing, is if they're not paying any attention to their own business, what are they going to do for someone else?
And don't get me wrong, like I'm not always, you have to have your picture on your business card. I mean, if you don't want your picture on your business card, but we're talking about online, where strangers or realtors or agents that are strangers to you are looking to refer business. I want to be able to see who you are, so I can feel connected, or feel that my buyer might be connected, or my seller might be connected.
Absolutely. And then improving those relationships. I mean, are you using a CRM? I don't care if it's, Excel. I mean, are you reaching out to your past clients? Are you being consistent about your sphere? Past clients? Are you sending monthly emails? I mean, now's a really good time to be making sure that you are sending emails, videos, whatnot, posting, whatever you want to do, reaching out to your sphere. I mean, you see the news is one thing, but really bringing it down to that local level of what the market's really doing.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, for sure. It's funny because, people are like, oh no, the market's going to slow down, or the market's this. Look, I was at an economic development council thing probably 2 months ago. There are 4 big companies that are moving to Titusville. 4. That was like something like 800 new jobs. I hear, and I don't know if this is the correct number, but Blue Origin is like hiring 3,200 people. Now, are all 3,200 coming to Brevard County? I don't know, but that's still more jobs here, because of the space program, which with that brings more people, and with that brings more needs, more restaurants, more shopping. So that creates more jobs, and more jobs creates more needs for homes. So here, especially since we had two launches in one day last week.
I saw that. So awesome.
Awesome. So I mean, that program is not slowing down, and people are coming to town to work in the space program. And so I went out for dinner last Monday at a restaurant. The restaurant was packed. It was a Monday. I was like, what are all these people doing out on a Monday? I mean, it's Monday. And then I went out Tuesday because my sister was in town too. So we went out to dinner Tuesday, went to a different restaurant, packed. Like, we had to wait for a table. It was Tuesday. Like, where are all these? And it's the summer. It's not snowbird time. What is going on? Where are all these people coming from that they're out eating? Clearly, I mean, I know there's some people who are not doing great, but clearly the economy in Brevard County seems to be doing just fine, at least from my observation.
And it's the same here. And we've got a bunch of companies coming, Tennessee and, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, it doesn't help with affordability housing to get my kids out of here. But
Right. That's correct. So anyway, I mean, like you said, improve your relationships, invite people out for coffee or to have lunch. Or the people that you keep saying, yeah, we're going to get together for coffee soon. Do it. Put it on your calendar. Make it a date,
and make sure to connect as like a person, not
as an agent,
not a salesperson or anything. Just really humanize that.
Yes.
That reaching out. I think we all see right through the sales pitch people. Don't do that.
Right.
Be genuine about that,
Right,
connection and relationship and stuff like that.
Right. Exactly.
Which I still always get so upset about. Like, I loved our agent that helped us get this. And I thought, oh, this is awesome. Like, we click, like everything was great. And I thought for sure, like, it would become a friendship and never heard from them again. Never did. Except for, a magnet thing for my fridge when she switched companies. That was it.
Wow.
And I was like, so disappointed because she was absolutely amazing. Like, and that's hard to come by, but her follow-up skills, so disappointing.
Yeah.
And that's sad. But because she was incredible. I would have been recruiting her all day long. And then I at least could have coached her on, hey, let's work on this follow-up skills you got going on.
Right. Yeah, that's a perfect example. All right. So for this week, add more of something that you're doing in your business that is going to take you to the next level. So make it bigger.
That missing piece that you intended to do, you haven't done. Let's make that shift now that hopefully you have a little bit of time, you're able to breathe a little bit. Make sure to go find that one extra little something to get into your business.
Exactly. And what are your words of wisdom for us this week?
To surround yourself with people that reflect who you want to be and how you want to feel, energies and contagious.
There you go.
Yeah. I think it's missing something. But basically, I love the whole surround yourself with, people who are going to uplift you and make you better and all that fun stuff.
Exactly.
So that's it. We've got some great shows. We just opened up our Reignite 2023 business planning. So you are good to go with that. If you go to our Monday morning wake up call, it is live to go ahead and register now. I finally figured out how to make our book completely digital. So you'll be able to fill it in and everything else.
Nice.
So that you can get the replays, get that digital downloaded book. That's going to be all 4 weeks, and I think starting the first week of October. So those first 4 weeks. So super excited. We've got that all nailed down. So that registration is now open, and we've got some great shows coming up. Until next week, wake up, kick ass, and repeat. Bye, everyone.